Hello, I thought this week I would bring you a book haul. On Tuesday of this week I went to Toronto with a couple friends and we visited 7 different bookstores and a comic book store as we walked around Toronto. And I bought a lot of books because I kind of knew this was coming and saved up for it. So I'm going to drink my tea while I do this because my throat isn't quite what it should be. But so yeah. So I bought a ton of books. My first stop was Anthropology, and I got this beautiful copy, which I'm going to show a bit better, of Pride and Prejudice. It's a Penguin edition, and I love this. I've kind of been eyeing these editions for a while. I love the inside bright green, and it's got the deckled edges. I don't know if you can see that. And I really, really want the Alice in Wonderland edition of this that's got teapots all over it. I'm constantly searching for a copy of Pride and Prejudice that I'm really happy with, and I think this one might just be it. I have the Penguin cloth-bound edition as well as the Penguin drop cap edition, and while both are nice, they're not quite what I want out of one of my favorite books. So after that, we went downtown and we stopped into the BMV next to the world's biggest bookstore. And BMV is a chain in Toronto that sells overstocked and used books. So at the first location, it was kind of a smaller one. We didn't actually plan for that one. We were mostly going to the world's biggest bookstore because sadly that is closing in February, which is really heartbreaking. But I mean, that's sadly the way bookstores are going. But it was just there, and I thought, well, let's pop in, and I'm really glad we did because I got the Atlas of Middle-earth, which is beautiful. And I got it for $12.99, and it retails for $32 Canadian. And it's got maps. That's a map of the Brandywine, the Barrow Downs. It's got Orthanc. And it's got battle plans. I was flipping through this, and it's got like the Battle of Helm's Deep, and this is the Battle of Morenon, and it shows like troop movements, which, as a historian and as somebody who's like really interested in cartography, this is fantastic. I'm really excited to own this. My friend Della also got a copy. This is something that I'm really happy to add to my Tolkien shrine, and that's where it goes. I also picked up a copy of Cranford by Elizabeth Gaskell, and I got one of these Penguin editions, and this is literally brand new. It still has the Penguin English Library slip in it, and it was $5.99 versus the normal $12 that these retail for, so I was really happy to pick this up because I quite enjoy Elizabeth Gaskell. I'll probably be doing a review of North and South sometime in the new year, because I need to finish that. I'm almost done, but I really like her work. Yeah. And I also picked up a copy of The Odyssey, and it is the Robert Fagles translation. It's just the standard copy, and it retails for $22.50, and I got it for $6.99. It's got a little mark on the back, but I actually haven't read The Odyssey or the Iliad in its entirety yet, so that's something that I'm looking forward to. So then after that we stopped into the world's biggest bookstore, which is right next door. I have a lot of memories of that bookstore. My dad and I used to go a lot when I was younger. It was his favorite bookstore, so I wanted to at least see it for the last time. It's not like I remember as a kid because it's been turned into a Chapters Indigo kind of place, but it's still really neat. It's massive. They literally have like everything. I saw a really beautiful edition of Stardust, which if I had had a spare $200 I would have bought. It was like bound in blue with like a little cutout in its dust jacket, and it was just stunning, but I couldn't justify it. So I didn't buy anything there, and then we moved on to Ben McNally's Books, which is down on Bay Street if you know Toronto. That is an adorable little bookstore. I was kind of saving my money for the big BMV stop, so I didn't really buy anything at some of the more independent books stores, but my friend got a couple books there, and I saw a lot of things, and that's a bookstore probably my favorite one on the trip. I didn't film anything that day just because I wasn't quite, it was really cold and pulling my camera out didn't feel like a lot of fun. So then we walked down Queen West and we went to Type Books, which is a really neat little kind of indie hipster, I would call it, bookstore right by the Trinity Bellwoods Park. And then we went to Monkey's Paw, and if you follow me on Instagram, which I'll link below, we went because they have a book vending machine, which sadly was not working the day we went. So I'm drinking blueberry jam tea from David's Tea, and it's just so good, which I also got that day. But yeah, so that was really disappointing because it's this like blue, almost 1950s refrigerator style thing, and you put $2 in and you get a book out. My friend Christine from Starry Eyed Beauty wrote a post about it, and it looked awesome, and that's the main reason we went, and it was completely closed. So after that we went up to the big BMV in the Annex on Bloor West, and this is where I bought most of my stuff. So I got a copy of Stephen Chbosky's The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I got it for $6.99. You can see the little BMV logo that I need to take off. This retails for $15.50 in Canada, and I got the edition that's like bright lime green with like blue on the side, because that's all they had. You have to be not as choosy about which editions you get. And then I got a Charles Dickens drop cap, Great Expectations. And this is one of my favorite finds. This retails for $23 in Canada, and I got it for $19.99. I really like these editions. They're very colorful. I really like the fact that the edges of the pages match the binding. I think these are really nicely done. I have two drop caps now. I have this one, and then I have Pride and Prejudice, as I mentioned earlier. I really like them. I kind of want to get the Moby Dick, even though I've never read Moby Dick, because it's this fantastically bright teal. They really appeal to me. And then I also got another Elizabeth Gaskell book, Wives and Daughters, and in this nice pink edition, because this is the only one they had, and this was $4.99, so I'm really looking forward to reading this. I think in one of my groups that I'm in Goodreads is going to be reading this in the new year, so I'm pretty excited about that. I was looking for Gone with the Wind, and I couldn't find it in any of the B&Bs. I didn't really want to spend full price for it. So then I also got Dracula by Bram Stoker for $4.99. It's just a Oxford edition. This is for a project that I'm working on about vampires, so that's exciting. And then as I was checking out, there was a bunch of Wreck These journals for $7, so I couldn't really resist that. My friend and I got it, and we decided we would wreck them together. And then our last stop, we parked at Yorkdale because we live outside of the city, and we just took the TTC in, and I picked up S, the J.J. Abrams book. And it is rather fantastic. I had to break the little thing that goes across. And it is this wonderfully bound book. And it even has the, if you can see that, the little notation from the library. It's a book for loan, and it's got all these notations inside. So it's a book within a book. And what you're reading is you're reading the text, The Ship of Theseus, but then you also are reading the conversation between these two readers. And it's really interesting metafiction. I haven't read much of this other than the title page, which I found really funny because it's obviously somebody who's a bit of a snob and somebody who's just an undergrad, and I thought that was really amusing because that's something you come up against a lot as an undergrad, is that your opinions aren't really valid just because you haven't studied as much as a master's student or a PhD student. So I thought that was really funny as I was flipping through it. But now that I have finally finished my last essay of the semester, I'm done my exams, I should be able to post more. Christmas season might be a bit busy, but I've got some videos planned for the new year, so I look forward to seeing you. Bye, and I hope you all have a happy Christmas.